The box seat brought to you by our stable of sponsors: Woodland Stud, Brecon Farms, New Zealand Bloodstock Standardbred, Stonewall Stud, the clubs Alexandra Park, Cambridge, Addington and Ashburton, Garrard's Horse and Hound, and IRT. It's your horse and our passion. So a wonderful shot there of Ben Butch. What a great day for he and the Stonewall Stud team. And Michael Guerin, the 14th running of the IRT Harness Jewels. A wonderful day it was there at Cambridge, and a big congratulations to David Branch, Graham Bowen and the big team there that put it together.
Hi Greg, big hi to everybody watching the show around New Zealand and of course Australia. It was fun, Greg, which is what it should be. I mean, for most people it's not a business. And for most people watching this, it is a leisure activity and a reason to have a bet. So it should be fun, and it was enormous fun. Some interesting results, some disappointments, some great performances. I thought it was a magical day, and we're going to talk later. Did we see the best ever Jules performance at Cambridge on Sunday?
Yeah, let's get right into reviewing things, starting with figures-wise. What unfolded? We had to compare it, of course, to the last Harness Jewels held at Addington Raceway. The most significant thing there, Michael, I don't really take too much notice of the on-course these days because so many people bet on their phones, but the fixed odds being up close to $500,000. There's some of the hits and misses from the figures we showed you last week, but overall can only be described as a huge success.
I think the move to Sunday worked, Greg. It gave them more television coverage away from the gallops. There was a lot of galloping people on track there, which is a Cambridge thing because it's a racing town. Massive turnover. A lot of people were involved in that. Trackside had a preview show. We had a preview show. Lots of coverage in the papers in the north. Disappointingly, virtually no coverage in the stuff papers. So that's maybe a sign of the times, Gregory. Harness Racing New Zealand got behind it. A lot of coverage on the radio, a lot of coverage in Australia. And the bookies did their part. They got the odds out really early to give people a chance to wind into those. They had a few wins, Greg, early doors. Some of the favourites got beat, which helped them to maybe give longer odds for some of the horses later in the card, Greg, because they didn't have the liabilities they would have had it kept on winning favourite. I thought massive result for Cambridge, for harness racing, for the TAB. All those boxes ticked, Greg, but what wasn't ticked was a couple of the favourites early doors.
Right, let's get into our review. We're going to do them diamonds, rubies and then emeralds. So let's start with the Hardwood Breeding Syndicate. The 2-year-old diamond, Michael, where True Fantasy was a hot favourite, and as predicted by many, this is what unfolded at the start. Some terrific drone footage shots we do have. Rolling to the top, A Better You, about to hand to the favourite in True Fantasy, getting a beautiful run early, Mickey Montana, but plenty of pressure up the front as well.
Look, the speed map, for want of a better term, worked out exactly how people thought it would. The lead trail for the Hayden Cullen pair, but then things went a bit awry. Just watching here, Natalie Rasmussen, tappity tap tap, tappity tap, on True Fantasy. She's never been in front before. This is a whole new ball game for her. Not sure, and we'll hear from the drivers afterwards, whether this is her being surprised to be in front, or this is her last run of a campaign. Montana Glory outside her has worked pretty hard, and to be perfectly honest, outshines True Fantasy by a long way. For me, was actually the run of the race. Sitting there on the trail, cruising along, Greg, A Better You had exactly the sort of run it needed to get up the passing lane and be too good. But again, going down the back straight, True Fantasy, tappity tap, tap, tap. Natalie at her all the time, Greg. that was a worrying sign for punters even at this stage.
Yeah, it certainly was. Back in the field there in the Woodlands colours, an outstanding day for them was the maiden Ka-Ching Ka-Ching. So look for her to charge home. Todd McFarlane doing the steering. Of course, he trains this filly by Bettor's Delight, who had a magic day there at the Jewels. Gee, she might be one of the hottest favourites going around in a maiden that we've seen in a wee while next time up. But we'll get to Aaron White to bring them home, the Hardwood Breeding Syndicate 2-year-old Diamond, the first of our reviews today.
A Better You on the passing lane is starting to hit the hopples. Well, Montana Glory, A Better You drives hard. Mark Purton gets another jewel in the sulky, and Brecken Colours to the fore again. A Better You will beat out second. Montana Glory, True Fantasy. Ka-Ching Ka-Ching is rocketed home for fourth.
Special win for the Breckens at home.
Yes, yeah. Sort of deserved one. Greg, she hasn't had much luck in the big ones, and today she just had the good draw and a good run and was able to capitalise on that.
Yeah, look, she did deserve that because she has had some tough assignments this campaign.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, things just haven't worked out, but as I say, today with a good draw and a good run, she was able to capitalise on it.
Mark, is it still special? I know it's Win 27 sitting in the car at the Harness Jewels, but it's still a wonderful concept, isn't it?
Oh, it's a wonderful concept, and maybe with the change of seasons, Greg, we'd see it run at a different time of the year, which I think it'd be the making of it.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
That bit of the track on your face might indicate that.
Yes, yeah. Well, we're probably a little bit lucky we haven't had as much as what they predicted, but just the same, like if it was run in the summertime, I'm sure it'd be a real special event.
Gee, she was brave.
Yeah, look, she went great. She had to do a little bit of work that first 600 metres, got to park. So it wasn't too bad. We could dictate from there. We didn't sort of go too much from probably the 1200 to the 4s. So, look, she stuck to her guns. I thought I had them the whole way up the straight and just got beat by a horse with a better run on the day.
Yeah, beautifully rated by Zachary Butcher too, Michael, because they had a middle section there of about 30 seconds from the 12 to the 800. Meant no one was really moving, and she was getting a beautiful run. I did speak to Natalie Rasmussen about True Fantasy. You're absolutely right. She was niggling away at her the whole time. She raced way below her best. She's now been sent for a spell. We'll have a nice break. But I think with the run that she had and the way she had performed earlier on, most expected her to win. So clearly she wasn't up to her best.
Yeah, huge help for the bookmakers. Huge when a horse like her gets beat, particularly what happened afterwards with horses like Akuta and Co winning. That just takes a whole bunch of people out of play, as did a couple of earlier results, so that saves the day for them. She's underperformed by 2 lengths because Montana Glory's been close to as good as her, but clearly outpointed her in this race. Montana Glory outstanding. The winner, superb though. Look, it needed the right type of run to win. It got that run. And that's often what racing is all about, but still had to be well trained. They thought she might be the best of their fillies early doors of BDU. On this day, she was Gregory, but Ka-Ching Ka-Ching, excellent as well. What we're going to see a lot during the show, Greg, a lot of other horses tired. A lot of horses on Jewels Day were beaten at the 400 or beaten by big margins. It's late in the season, and you can see them getting tired, Greg. We're going to see that for our next 8 replays as well.
Yep, we certainly are. Let's move on to the second of our diamonds. It is with Dunstan Horse Feeds, and this the 3-year-old section. Better Twist drawn on the outside. She's had an outstanding season. No one could argue with that. She had the toughest draw to work with and her biggest rival, Michael, in La Rosa, drawn beautifully. Here they were off the gate, and not only La Rosa but Sweet Belle getting out very nicely. La Rosa didn't show blazing gate speed, she just worked there, and as we'll hear from Sam Otley a little bit later on, she's in that category you just talked about, Michael. A very long season, and even though they've gone excellent time here, she has underperformed. But as they settled down, she was in the spot most expected her to be, with Often Gone on her back.
Well, when you've got this second and third favourites lead trail, you're in trouble when you're 3 wide, which Natalie Rasmussen is here in those Harness Jewels colours. The trouble gets worse because the horse in front of you isn't probably taking you into the race at the speed you would like. Now, she's been a very good filly, Better Twist, but in the last month, Gregory, she's taken a step up. She's taken a step to be one of the greats, and that gave Natalie the confidence to do this. Pulling 4 wide, again, leader and trailer are your 2 biggest dangers. You're having to give them a stack of lengths in under 55 seconds for the last 400. This is a massive performance, Greg, from a horse who may now be among the greatest 3-year-old fillies we've had. They are flying. She's covered, I think, Greg, somewhere between 3 and 5 lengths more than any other horse in this race, Greg, and she would not go away. This is a super filly. Let's hear Aaron White's call of the 3-year-old Diamond.
And here's Life's a Beach starting to thunder home down the outside. Is Johnny Morrison's dream about to come through? He's racing down. Better twist, what a champion she is. She'll get the Diamond. Life's a Beach has come from yesterday to get second and third over Off and Gone.
Outstanding.
Oh, that's one word for it, Greg. You know, she just never lies down. She done it the hard way, and yeah, she was just super.
At what point in the race do you think, well, she'll just be too tough for them?
Look, I knew when Nat peeled down the back, you know, she'd been working super, and she really seems on top of her game at the moment. And I knew she was, she'd probably grind them into the ground, but look, she had to be good. But yeah, she was just phenomenal tonight.
Good break for her now?
Yeah, she'll go out for a wee bit now, and well-deserved breaks. So yeah, she's going back to Brecon Farms for a month or so.
I reckon all of Southland would have been cheering then.
Yeah, just clearing 100 Texas now, Greg. Yeah, no, big buzz. Yeah, huge thrill.
Enormous performance from her, and halfway down she looked like she was going to get really close to the great filly.
Yeah, I don't get too excited in races, but I actually gave a couple of roars. The commentator went the early crow for the Johnny Morrison win, so I thought, oh. But one thing about Natalie's horse, it just never lies down. It never has, and it just doesn't lie down. When it's in a straight line, it just keeps going.
She's come a very long way, your filly. That gives you a lot to look forward to with her.
A lot to look forward to, yeah. Great ownership, and she's well bred. So she's going to go home and have 6 weeks off now, Greg, and then I wouldn't mind taking her to Australia for the Breeders' Crown. Andrew's quite keen to have a go, so and of course I've got Queen Elida over there, so it would just sort of, yeah, we might as well have 2 cracks.
Tim, she's had a great season. Now she's capped that off with another Group 1 placing.
Yeah, super. Obviously, Rap, she's come a long way this time, and Greg from kicking off her career this time to being able to place in a couple of these big ones and win the Sale Series race. So just wrap the season she's had, and credit to the team out there. They've done a great job right through the season, and lucky enough to get a good run and a good trip today, and she was able to get away with it again.
Well, Sam, you had the draw. You had to make the most of it.
Yeah, that's right. We had to make the other ones work, and we certainly did that. But it's been a big season, and she's probably just telling us she's come to the end of it. Shouldn't feel 100 today. She wasn't that sharp off the gate, and a few steering issues. So she's telling us that she wants to see the paddock, and it's well deserved. She's done us proud all season, and I'm sure she'll come back a better horse.
Yeah, great contest, 152.5. Spoke to Gareth Hughes about the Honey Queen too, Michael. Things just went awry when she came south. She'll have a nice break now too, and she'll come back a better horse too, because we know her real talent. She's got plenty of it.
She has. It was a deep field. The question is where all these fillies go. Now, obviously no one's going to Queensland. Life's a Beach was outstanding, and one of the feel-good stories of the day. There were quite a few during the day where beaten horses really did themselves proud. Tony's suggesting there he'll go to the Breeders' Crown, which the Victoria Oaks also falls before that, so she'll use this big loophole now which we have where our horses remain 3 till December 31 in Australia, although they're now going to remain 3 here too, but that's a story for another day. I think Better Twist will do the same thing, so I think both those fillies will head there. Maybe one of them will change their mind because the other one's going, more likely Life's a Beach. Good deep crop of mares we're going to have for the next couple or 2 or 3 years, Greg. Better Twist, I can't wait till she gets to Menangle on that big track and she just gets wind up. She'll go 150 for a mile every day of the week. Whether she turns out to be a champion mare with her breeding, Greg, and the way she's been winning, you would suggest that is likely. It's going to be a fun watch for the next couple of years.
Yeah, certainly a fun watch for the first 2 of our reviews for the team from Brecon Farms, and I had a chance to catch up with Ken to just see how delighted they were. Well, you're generally a happy fella, but you can't really wipe that smile off your face at the moment.
Very, very happy, Greg. I mean, to have 2 Group 1 winners consecutively, absolutely fantastic.
Let's start with Better Twist, and what a season it's been for her.
Yeah, 6 Group 1s. I mean, today we thought maybe a day she may get beaten. and she raced. I don't think she was any closer than 4 wide. The time they've run, it just shows you what a great horse she is. In fact, look, she could be anything, this horse. The time was incredible. She had no favours, but I think she showed today she actually has got a huge turn of foot, and down their back straight, Natalie Rasmussen said they were absolutely flying. So, but I had my heart in my mouth. To go that far, that wide, and still come away with a win is exceptional.
I Better You had a better run, but she deserved that because she's had some tough ones.
Yeah, look, I think she was flattened in the Group 1 in Auckland when we had the torrential rain, and it was a mud bath. I think it was down here, wasn't it? Yeah. And it was... it was actually Auckland. The conditions were terrible, and with a 2-year-old filly, I think it took a lot out of her. And the week after, got the great draw, but I think she was still flat with that. And I know what the stables think of her. They've got big raps on her, and I think they think as much as her as the other one, True Fantasy. So she got the run today, got the draw, came off the back of a stablemate, and I've got a new syndicate that are very, very pleased. And in fact, half of them have never raced a horse. So to have a Group 1 winner in their first season is remarkable, and we're just over the moon with it all.
A great day for Brecon Farms and, of course, wonderful supporters of the show, as are Woodlands, as we head to the 4-year-old Diamond Michael, and their horse appropriately takes it out. Let's have a look at the start, and as many predicted, off the inside, the Pearl Harbour in the hands of Nathan Williamson got off really nicely. Not rocketing to the lead here, Need You Now, just working her way there. What is of most interest here, though? Natalie Rasmussen decides to come back off the gate with Amazing Dream. She attempts to get one out here following through Rock and Roll Mama, who's one of the stories of the race. David Butcher said, no, you're not going there. They lock wheels here, and I was actually lucky enough to be standing on the bend whilst they were jostling for that position, and that was the key to the race. Not taking anything away from the winner, but once she ended up there, what's she, 40 metres off the lead there over a mile at Cambridge?
Look, she is. First of all, good driving from David Butcher. His job's not to make anybody's life easy. I'll get back to Need You Now. I'll get back to Amazing Dream later. Need You Now's worked awfully hard here. She's been wide, and yeah, Amazing Dream was back, but she wasn't 40 metres off Need You Now. She was only 10 or 12 metres off Need You Now at that stage because she was stuck wide in midfield. She's worked really hard to get to the lead around a bend. So she has been a deserved winner of this. You mentioned Rock and Roll Mama. She's 3 back on the 3 wide line, so she's gone absolutely massive, following Plutonium Lady, who was good. Amazing Dream came from an awfully, awfully long way back, but let's not kid ourselves here. She keeps getting beaten in Mears races. She got beaten at Alexander Park in a Mears race. She got beaten in a Mears race at Addington, Greg. When she's on her day and she's following a hot speed, she can do amazing things, but she also knows how to get beat. Here's the last 150 metres. Need You Now holding on, but look for the runs out wide.
Lady, Need You Now. Here's Plutonium Lady and Sam Otley charging, and Rock and Roll Mama looking to blow them out down the outside. Need You Now. Need You Now for the 4-year-old Diamond. Plutonium Lady, Rock and Roll Mama, big run 3rd, and Amazing Dream 4th.
IRT Harness Jewel number 3 for you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks very much, Greg. It's always a thrill to win these. They're hard, as you know, to win, so we're wrapped with that.
And she, Need You Now, thoroughly deserved that. She's gone some awesome races, and now she's a Group 1 winner.
Absolutely. When you meet a champion like Amazing Dream, and you've got to go through the whole season trying to, and last season too, to try and beat her, it's nearly impossible. So it was great that she actually got the drop on her today, but to be fair, it was a great run by her.
Yeah, it was. Okay, what happens now with Need You Now? She's had a pretty long season. She deserves a break.
She's had a big season, and she's had some tough racing. A lot of bad draws, as we talked about earlier, Greg, and so she'll go out for a spell now, but the news I'm getting through from Woodlands is that they're going to race her again next season, so that's quite exciting for us.
Well, she's gone great, Sam.
Yeah, absolutely wrapped with her, Greg. Couldn't have been more prouder of her. She's, fought the whole way up the straight, and has only gone down by a small margin. So very pleasing.
Yeah, look, she's had a great season. Not too sure what the plans are, but she deserves a break, and we've really still got a bit to look forward to with her.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not too sure what the plan is. She might even be staying up here. There might be another couple of races for her. So we'll just wait and see. But she's a mare that's still got a few things to achieve yet.
Gee, that was a performance.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. You didn't have high expectations drawn outside on the second row, and
probably with her capability, you couldn't expect much, but the speed they run and, the way she finished was unbelievable.
Wow, that was competitive.
Oh, it certainly was, Greg. Once she drew that, it was always going to be tough. I just probably didn't want to be unlucky. In hindsight, I should have followed through. But just the way that the race panned out, I thought her run was brilliant and can't take anything away from the winner. It had a good, tough run as well. So disappointed she probably couldn't win, but really happy with her run.
Yeah, very good run from Amazing Dream. But as you said, Michael, can't take it away from Need You Now. I think that was win number 8 in her career, owned by the Woodlands Partnership. I think Stacey Markham's part of that ownership, or Stacey White as she is these days. And like I said, Woodlands are terrific supporters of the game, including this show, and I was so pleased for them to grab themselves a Group 1 with her.
Well, we're seeing these big breeding operations, Woodlands, Breckons, retain these fillies and then lease them out, which is great because other people get to get involved, and then they get to retain them in the country to breed from. She'll be a horse who eventually should head to Menangle and get a ripping big mile time because she'll go such a good time. Second and third, excellent. Really thrilled for Matt Purvis and the team with Rock and Roll Mama. Really good. Amazing Dream, again, great. There's nothing wrong with her, but expectations of her are so high, Greg. And we said this a few weeks ago, so we're not saying this post-race to say, oh, wow, we were right. Because I picked her on top. But she's always going to be beatable, Greg, because of tempos of races and the fact that she doesn't tend to have blazing gate speed to lead and dominate races. If you went back through her season, it's the most incredible roller coaster for punters. Win Auckland Cup, get beat by a mare. Win open class race beating Spankham, get beat by a mare. And that's been the story of her whole season. In the Group 1 mares races she's contested 3 of them, Greg. She's been beaten in the whole lot. You wouldn't think that was possible for an Auckland Cup winner. Not slagging her, she's just a tricky horse. The reason I mention it is because I want punters to be aware of it, because she's heading to Queensland and she's just as big a chance to turn up and win the Rising Sun or the Blacks Are Fake, and just as big a chance to get beaten in the Sunshine Sprint.
Yep, well, Plutonium Lady will have a start at Auckland next week, and that might be it for her because there's not too many other opportunities. I see both La Pole Dancer and Rock and Roll Mama are both going around at Cambridge, so they'll have another crack at that on Friday night. Short break for us here on your IRT Jewels review program. When we come back, we've still got half a dozen of these gems to come. Welcome back into your IRT review show for the box seat. Let's get into the 2-year-old trotters now, and it was an opportunity for one Tony Hurley to go back-to-back in this section. This was the Montana Food and Events 2-year-old Ruby. Off the gate here, Michael, Mr. Love for Team Hope got out nicely. Mark Jones had Kauai Sunset right on the gate as well. And they trotted up pretty nicely for the first couple of 100 metres. Of course, one of the favourites, Mystic Max, there in the Harness Jewels colours, just dropping in behind them. Now, wider out Voronov, who is trained and driven by Luck Chin, of course. He has the favourite Highgrove on his back, or even out 4 wide. Speaking to John Dunn post-race, he said to me, look, the horse got very fired up. Luck was chirping away at his one, and his horse, Highgrove, never relaxed at all. As we get to this point at the winning post, they're 4 wide here, Michael, in the 2-year-old Ruby.
Yeah, so what we're looking at essentially is Highgrove, because he's the horse all the money's gone on. He was probably one of the plunge horses of the day. He's come wide here, which John Dunn has had to do. And he's got around them to lead okay, but as you said, he's very fired up. You can look at his body there. He's using a lot of energy. And that will later see him break under pressure. Maybe also being a big horse, he just come to the back end of the season, because the horse who won at Ashburton still would have won this, but he didn't perform to that level. But let's talk about the winner. Back in the field, she's come from the widest draw, Double Delight. She's bred to pace. She shouldn't have even been in this race. And she's been racing in seemingly inferior North Island 2-year-old trotting races. Still wears the half hopples. It's got nothing going for her, and she's still now 3 back on the outside. This is a remarkable win on a day of remarkable wins. Here's Highgrove about to gallop. You would have had anything on Mystic Max at this stage, but as it turned out, the little girl from the North Island was too good. Here's Aaron White for the 2-year-old Ruby.
On the passing lane, Double Delight charges home, and Double Delight, this gorgeous trotter for the Iceman, Tony Hurley, remains unbeaten, and she's a Ruby winner. Very tight second between Mystic Max and Mr. Love.
Congratulations, Tony.
Yeah, no, thanks very much, Greg. Yeah, it was a great effort, and she's done a great job for us.
Yeah, you were saying pre-race that it was all a bonus because, man, she's come a long way in a short time.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. She only had a couple of workouts, then I took her to a race, and she just kept getting better and better, and she's been such a little professional. She's been bloody great. It's been unbelievable.
Let's talk about the run you got. You got a beautiful run following the helmet of Blair Orange.
Yeah, followed him. He's a nice horse, as we know, and he ran up there and carried us into it, and yeah, we're lucky we sort of slotted in early there from out wide, but she did the job herself, and yeah, and trotted 158. She's come from going about 214 about 6 or 8 weeks ago, you know, so she's come a long way.
What do you do now, Tone? What's the plan?
No, she'll have a break now.
Yep.
Yeah, she's come such a long way, she deserves a break, and yeah, she's got a bit of stamina, so I think she could be a nice filly later on next autumn sort of thing, you know.
Well, he got a beautiful run and he went great.
Yeah, he went good, Greg, you know, so, we did get a lovely run and, he come out round the corner like he was going to be a real threat, and he was, but obviously we found one better on the day.
Benny's come a very long way, Mr. Love.
Oh, he has, yep. No, it's been a credit to Mum and Dad, really. We've had a lot of issues through him out the season, and I thought a couple of times we'd have to turn him out, but no, they got him right, and it was a great third. He's going to be a bloody nice 3-year-old because he hit the line really strong for a horse that did that amount of work, so I think he's in for a good career.
Well, he's clearly the best horse, but it might have just been a bridge too far today.
It was, wasn't it? And it was disappointing because he's had a great week in training, and we were really, thinking that he could win today. I just saw Jenna. I haven't talked to Johnny yet. Saw Jenna and Johnny's wife, and Johnny said he pulled too hard. He's still going easy, which was a disappointing factor, but he just rolled out of his gear. But, not mentally there yet, but he's going to be one hell of a horse one day.
Yeah, and Robert, we know everything's been a bonus at 2 because he's got a big frame.
Yeah, big frame, and he's got not a lot of middle to him yet. But he's got a real good headpiece on him too. So I think he just got to him a wee bit, as we talked about, and looking forward to seeing him as a 3-year-old.
Yeah, so 3 to 4 months out for him. To the winner, Double Delight, Michael, broke the New Zealand record held by Joanne, so she has that in her resume as well. And you just get a feeling from Tony Hurler, he knows that getting to this stage has actually been a bonus, and she really should just get better.
On a normal Jules Day, it would be the most remarkable story of the day. She's by Captain Treacherous. She was bought to pace. She just refused to do so. Lovely, lovely filly. Total Oaks filly in the making. Tony has a decision to make. I know which way he'll go, but he could go to the 2-year-old Breeders' Crown later this year, Greg, because there's nothing in the early part of the season for 3-year-old trotters. And he could go to the Redwood in Victoria. I don't think he has a travel mate, so he might be reluctant to do that, but gee, it'd be tempting to go after more Group 1s because she would probably just panel those horses. I think it's a decent crop. I think there's a lot of horses here, Greg, like Mr. Love, who are big and they need a bit more time and they'll be fine. Obviously, Highgrove being one of those. So good crop, but she's a great, great story and a wonderful little filly who totally snuck under the guard of most people.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. Let's move on to the 3-year-old section with Mitre 10. Here's the gate rolling for this one. Early speed coming from Mufasa Metro, who went a cracking race for the Wallace Hackett team. Todd Mitchell getting off the gate smartly here. Part of the reason for that, Leaf Stride, who's ended what's been an awful back end of the season for Phil Williamson's team. And saying that, Mufasa Metro led for fun. That's Salvo in second. Regular Tyre, who Natalie was hoping would get off the gate and potentially lead. That didn't unfold. Out of my way to its outside. And 4 wide outside Time Up the Hill at that point, Michael, was this wonderful trotter, 5 Wise Men.
Yeah, a lot of our winners, Greg, saw a lot more of the outside fence than the marker pegs this week, but he managed to get the right trail, did John Dunn, who actually drove the day beautifully. And he's followed Time Up the Hill into the race, but he still had to be clearly the best horse because he's been, basically, we're getting to the halfway stage of the race here. 4, then 3 wide, and then parked. a few gallopers back in the field, a few horses raced pretty tired, and Out of My Way type horse was very clunky. But I don't think it matters, Greg. He's been the best horse all season. He had the bonus of not racing a lot. A lot of these horses raced in those 2-year-old races last year, which actually raced around September, October. And I think, like the Leaf Strides and some of those horses, they're getting very tired. And this horse didn't. But Greg, he's just better than them. And he comes out here and wins with a fair degree of arrogance. Second horse was fantastic. Son of Patrick is always up for a fight, so he was really good. But this is totally and utterly been Five Wise Men's 3-year-old trotting season. And he'll get some votes, I'm pretty sure, for Trotter of the Year, even though Sunday Sun will win that title. This has been a pretty remarkable season. Here he is, adding another Group 1.
Five Wise Men, though, the sensational 3-year-old trotting square gator draws away in the latter part of the Ruby. And Five Wise Men to beat Mufasa Metro. Son of Patrick up for third, and they were followed Salvo fourth.
Well, congratulations, Craig. That wraps up the season for you.
Yeah, it was great, Greg, to finish on a high with him. You know, like, well, he's had a great season anyway, but just to get this one is brilliant, you know, like for everyone involved, you know, so.
Preparation-wise, it couldn't have gone better. Trialled here brilliantly, and you were telling me earlier in the week, just worked the house down.
Yeah, he trialled really good. He had a wee bit of a blow, and so we sort of stepped his work up during the week, and he just worked unbelievable, really, you know, like he felt super, and, you know, like the Triple A's done him good too. I think he's just starting to learn. Don said he was relaxed in the preliminary today, and because he always could get a wee bit fired up sometimes, you know. One day he'd be good, and the next day for some reason he would just get a wee bit fired up. But I think he's just starting to learn now. So yeah, so it's great.
You've been in this game your entire life. Is this the horse you've been waiting for?
Yeah. I loved his mother, Harriet Hughes, and I said to Ivan, I thought she's going to leave, always going to leave a good one somewhere. And when we had Harriet in mind, I thought, well, maybe that's the one, you know. But yeah, thankfully he's a bit better, you know. So yeah, so that's good.
He deserves a break now, but there's still so much to look forward to with him.
Yeah, there is, like, you know, we just sort of, now he's gone up the ratings a wee bit, so he doesn't want to be racing Sunday Sun and that at the moment, but, you know, like, if we can place him around next year and just he'll have a good spell and look after him, and he's going to be a nice horse in another year's time, hopefully, you know.
Yeah, well, to you, Amy and the family, congratulations. I know you're enjoying the ride at the moment.
Oh, it's been great, eh? Great for Amy, she's only young, starting out, you know, so it's a great opportunity, eh? So, you know, like, for her and Timmy and that, so, you know, it's good, steers them in good stead for later on, you know, so, yeah, thank you.
Terrific performance.
He went super, Greg, like, it's just like a win, really, like running second to a horse like that, but yeah, he a little bit iffy out of the gate. He's had a couple of mobiles, and one he won, and then the other one he skipped early and then won that race as well, but that was the only telling point was if we're 50-50 whether we'd trot out of the gate, but it's awesome gate speed, like, but not according to Wales analysis. I see he was about 4th or 5th slowest out, so I think he's got to redo that list of his, but we'll take that as a win today, running second, but you know, he'll come back even better next year, so nice racehorse.
Never easy doing speed maps, not when they potentially can gallop out of the gate. I did speak to Barry Purdon, Michael, about the performance of Son of Patrick. He said, look, he's probably going to have to lift to get to the next level, but he's gone great all season. Salvo in 4th, Jack Harrington, super result for them as well. But nobody could deny Five Wise Men as the champion 3-year-old trotter.
Yeah, I think he'll go on to be a very good open class trotter, Greg. He looks like he should be. He's bred to do so. Some of these 3-year-old trotters, you'd be really tempted to go again later in the season. Again, Victorian Trotting Derby, Breeders' Crown, which they split boys and girls, so Time Up the Hill could go there and contest the Oaks and the Fillies division of that, Greg, because there's nothing for these horses for 4-year-old trotters till about March or even April. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll be saying, forget open class, you're not good enough, because you're not, and take on the 3-year-old trots in Australia later in the year. I think there's a real bonus in that for some of these horses, Greg.
All right, moving on from that to the third of our Rubies. It was the 8th on the program, and this one with Garrard's Horse and Hound. Terrific sponsors of the sport across Australasia. They're hitting the mile start point here, Michael. On the inside, American Pride. Speed expected to come from the stablemates. Midnight Dash firstly, and then the favourite Muscle Mountain. Now, here's the key to the start of the race for me. Tim Williams almost across on Midnight Dash. Doesn't get there. American Pride, Natalie Rasmussen holds up. That, therefore, puts Muscle Mountain now into the 1-1. Just on his wheel there, Michael, One Magic Kenny. Now, you'll notice here, Ben Hope looks across. He can't pull out at that stage. He's not inside the 1,000 metres, so he can't push out. He has a second look and goes, oh no, there's Tony Herlihy. Once he gets in front of him, tactical advantage lost, and effectively the race lost.
You think he said, oh no, Greg?
I think he might have used some expletives, but we can't use those on these shows, Michael.
It's actually really easy to pick on Ben here, but to say, oh, well, he should have moved earlier. But the gap actually wasn't that big. It wasn't like he had all the time in the world to get cruising and think, I'm going to take off. Ben put his hand up after the race, very mature, and said, I should have kept pressing forward. Well, maybe he should have. But it all happened so quickly. He sort of got in the 1-1, turned around, and then he couldn't push out, as you said. So there's Tony, who's just done what Tony did and pushed exactly the right button at the right time, getting the tactical advantage, as you said. Then he could dictate to the other horse. And there's so little between these two horses that when he had that sort of run, he became the horse to beat. I'm not entirely sure he wouldn't have been the horse to beat anyway, the way he went, because he's just gone absolutely super Bolt for Brilliance. He's a quirky type of horse. Sometimes he can be unbelievable. Sometimes he can be just really, really good. On this day, he was unbelievable, and at the top of the straight, this jewel was over.
Two Muscle Mountain, American Pride, one over Kenny, Bolt for Brilliance. He's bolting to be a Jewel Ruby winner. He's going to do just that with Stan looking down. Bolt for Brilliance. What a win. Second over Muscle Mountain. They were followed in then by American Pride and Midnight Dash.
Tony, congratulations. Often these races are about tactical advantage, and once you got that over Muscle Mountain, it was yours to lose.
Once Ben settled in there and I had John Dunn going 3 wide, I just snapped onto his back as quickly as I could, and he's done the job himself after that. He's just won nice and gone great.
Tony, he's won pretty easily in the end, but you've always had a huge opinion of him, and he just keeps on lifting the bar.
Yeah, that's right. Even Phil Williamson's had a drive on him and he liked him.
Well, he was telling me about the 2-year-old. He reckons he's had an input to both of the winners today.
Oh, fair enough too.
Pretty awesome win by him. And what do you do with him now?
He's going to have a spell now, and whether I worry about the Dominion, I'm just not sure. I'd like to give him a bit of a break, and hopefully we're good enough and everything's good to go to Australia. I'd like to take him over there and race him a little bit over there, but we'll just see how he comes through it. And the Dominion's not completely out of it, obviously, but just see how we come through.
Well, congratulations on another great day.
Cheers, thanks very much, Greg.
Yeah, no, I was really happy with the horse. He's gone absolutely phenomenal. He's just been by a better horse on the day. I was probably a little bit disappointed with my drive. I thought maybe I should have pressed forward, but in saying that, we've both come a long way, me and the horse this season, and we'll be better for it next season.
Yeah, I thought he summed that up beautifully, Ben Hope. Just on Bolt for Brilliance, Michael, he's won a dozen races, 9 of those 2,200 metres or less. He is explosive for mine over the short course, not decrying his ability over the longer, but his record suggests he is brilliant over the sprint distances.
Yeah, and probably some of the longer races he's taken on Sunday Sun, the National Trot and the Road Cup. So I hope that all the good horses here, Muscle Mountain's a wonderful horse, Bolt for Brilliance, outstanding. I hope them and Sunday Sun and Cracker Hill and Ultimate Stride and Midnight Dash and a few others all stay together, Greg. I would love to see a series of races over the next 18 months where we get them together. In many ways, I think that'll be even more exciting than some of the pacing races we've got coming up at the highest level. These are good horses, Bolt for Brilliance. Tony Herlihy for the second Jewels in a row, training 2 of the Ruby winners, because obviously we didn't have a Jewels last year, so he did it 2 years ago. We have a lot of fun with Tony because he's such a fun person to hang out with and talk with, Greg, but we sometimes don't give him the credit he deserves as a trainer. He recently became a member of the 1,000 Win Club to win 2 Jewels back-to-back with 2 trotters, which is no easy effort. Probably a good testament to what a good trainer he is, even though he probably just would shrug his shoulders and have a giggle like he usually does and not make too big a deal of it.
No, you're exactly right there. Right, let's take a short break here on your box seat. When we come back, we'll review the final 3 jewels, the Emeralds, and see some of the startling performances that they produced. You're in your home straight and your IRT Harness Jewels review show. Let's go to the first of our Emeralds, the 2-year-old. They get in behind the gate here, Michael, and what didn't unfold was a Akuta heading forward like most expected. There was reasons for that. This one with Macmillan Equine Feed. Speed from the inside, the Maiden Sugar Apple. Alongside it, My Ultimate Chevron. Wider out, you see Akuta there, getting a little bit rough in his gait, and therefore Mark Purdon had to take a hold of him. And at Cambridge Raceway, over a mile, the last place you want to be going is back to last with about 1,200 metres to go. But that's exactly where he ended up.
Well, particularly Greg on a $1.20 chance. This could have been awfully messy for the punters. So for those who don't know, the horse was going rough, and Mark made the staggering decision, as we see him here, he's a television screen behind the other horses, to leave the hopple shorteners in. Now, hopple shorteners reduce the horse's stride off the gate. Once a horse is going like it is now, you let those hopples out so the horse can lengthen its stride to therefore get to maximum speed. Mark said, well, they're not long hopple shorteners, and because he needed that confidence after the early mucking around, I left them in. Mark said, I've never won a Group 1 race with hopple shorteners left in before. But even around all of that, still nothing's going to plan. They're 3 and they're 4 wide. Mark is back there following horses he doesn't want to be following. And then Greg, he just makes one of the great all-time Jewels statements. Major Perry, by the way, has been super sitting parked, and he's going to do a big job. But this is all about one horse. In fact, the day almost became about one horse. The horse who is about to launch in the green colours. Here is one of the great freshman freak performances in the history of our industry.
Straight quarter they come for home, and here's Mr. Ibiza let loose by Mark Purdon, and look at him go. He sails home down the outskirts of Cambridge Raceway. Bang! Par excellence, Akuta. Oh, is he the best 2-year-old you've ever seen? He may well be. Second, Major Perry. Third, rocketing through on the inside, Cosmic Major. They were followed Montana DJ.
Wow. Yeah, he was awesome. I'm just in awe of his performance. He was just picked them up like he just joined in. Greg, he was just tremendous. Yeah.
Mark, you had to go all the way back to last. Gee, looking up about the 700, you must have thought, I've got to get past all of these.
Absolutely. You know, I just from when we got round the first corner here, I thought, God, he'll have no show. And Dylan was probably just holding the other horses back, Cosmic Majors, and I thought, I'll take my chance and go up the inside and just see if I can be a place closer, which worked out all right, although we had a bit of a tussle for 50 metres or so. But yeah, and you know, just when he got clear room sort of round the corner here, he just, as I say, he just won like he just joined in.
Yeah, he exploded, Mark. They don't often win Group 1 2-year-old races by 10 lengths.
No, you just, yeah, as I say, I'm just in awe of him. I just can't believe how good this performance was.
All right, Mark, what do you do with him now? What is Hayden's plan from here?
He'll have a well-earned break now, Greg, so, you know, probably 5 weeks off, something like that. And then, of course, the season's changed for us now, so he actually rolls into a sort of 2-year-old size stakes toward November, I believe.
Well, congratulations to you, Mark. Well done.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, stunning performance from this horse, Akuta, bred by the Renwicks. This horse provided them with their first ever Group 1, of course, winning the Sire Stakes. Now they've got 2, but Michael, a staggering run from him. You're right, Major Perry was brilliant. Cosmic Major held up. Actually, Mr. Ibiza was held up in behind them too. He can win another couple of races at short notice. You're So Fine, who was wide the whole race. There were a lot of good runs in behind, but they were just blowing off the racetrack.
I think it's the best Jewels performance I've seen. Smolder, I think, had that
Mantle,
record for his
yeah.
3-year-old win about 10 years ago, but this was unbelievable. Nothing there makes any sense to me, Greg.
No.
What do we make of it heading forward? Maybe he is a great horse. Maybe he is the nearest thing we've had to Lazarus at a young age and will go on to just smash them in the derbies. I don't know that. He's bred to do so. Better's Delight out of a Christian Calamere. Often you see freakish things from juveniles and they may not be as good a horses at 3. I guess we'll find out. I think it's a pretty good crop, but for him to make them look that second rate, Greg, is a really hard thing to compute in your head. I think he could be a very special horse. Maybe that'll be his greatest ever run in his career. Maybe he'll never reach that peak again, Greg. But even if he doesn't, for me, I'll ask you the question, is that the greatest Jewels performance? Because it's the greatest one.
I was with you about Smolder. Smolder throughout the entire 13 previous Jewels was clearly number one, but yeah, that probably tops it, I think. And congratulations to Ian Dobson and, of course, Mark and the ownership as well. They paid 170,000 New Zealand bloodstock sales for him, and now he's getting close to $250,000, and that ain't stopping anytime soon. Let's leave the 2-year-old section behind and move to the 3-year-olds. This one here with IRT. The 3-year-old Emerald, gates rolling here, Michael. All the talk leading into Jewels Day was about what would happen at the start of this race, and Ben Butcher stays in front with BD Joe. That provided the Jewels favourite, and star 3-year-old Krug with a beautiful run throughout as they settle down in the middle there, Pace and Pride, into its outside. Alta Wise Guy, stablemate from the Stonewall Stud team, gets to the park position right now. Like so many on track, like so many sitting at home, at this point, Michael, most would have been thinking it's Krug's race to lose.
They were right, Greg. It was his race to lose. A lot to unpack here. Well, first of all, they changed tactics. They came out last week and suggested Alta Wise Guy would lead. Then Steve Telfer watched 4 hours of videos and he rang Ben Butcher and said, what do you want to do? And Ben said, I'd rather stay in front. And then Steve said, okay, well, let's do that. So they did change tactics. They didn't intend for the race to unfold this way, but that's what they chose to do. So he's in front and he's dawdling. So smart move here from Nathan Williamson, Regazo Mac, to go forward and at least get in the race. Had he sat back, he gets nothing. One of the performances of the race is Hot and Treacherous. He's been 3 wide and has been absolutely huge. And when you watch the last 50 of this race, he closes on them to the point where he almost won. But as you said, BD Joe in front, hey, the best 3-year-old in the country's on your back. You're not going to hold him off. Krug's going to go straight past you up the passing lane. We all knew it was going to happen next. It just didn't happen. BD Joe, beautifully timed drive by Ben Butcher. Krug went at him, and then he half dogged at Krug. He half thought to himself, I'm just going to take this cruisy. Here's what unfolds as Steve and Amanda Telfer get their duel.
On the inside, BD Joe, Krug to the roar of the crowd, hits the hopples, here he comes, Krug after BD Joe, who kicks hard, BD Joe will not be denied. BD Joe will get the emerald over Krug, Hot and Treacherous, Regazo Mark, American Dealer.
Well, congratulations, Ben, to win at home at Group 1, that'll be a massive thrill.
Oh, it is, and, Dad and Zach, and they've all talking about how they've won races, and I can say I've finally got one, so yeah, big thrill, and I'm ecstatic.
Sleeping wise this week, how's it gone? Because there's been plenty of chat in the media, not so much from you though.
I slept like a baby. I was crying every 2 hours, so no, I was good as gold. Like, don't have really many nerves, but we come out and we had a crack and we were able to win, so there wasn't much to worry about,
He actually deserves that, this horse, doesn't he? Because he was so brave in the Sire Stakes final, and he deserves a Group 1 win.
Oh, he does. He's been racing Super all year, and he's been close a couple of times, and we always thought he'd be my first Group 1 and our first Group 1, but it's great to finally get one with him, and to be at Jewels, maybe even the last Jewels, you don't know, but it is awesome.
What about Steve and Amanda Telfer and the job they do? And I know you're heavily involved yourself, but you must really be pleased to be winning these types of races for them.
Oh, too right, and they've done a lot for my career, and they've really helped me out and got behind me, and they were happy to support me even when I was a bit younger, and now that it's finally paying off, I can't thank them enough, and props to them.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to you, mate. Well done.
Thanks very much.
Be fair to say you had the run to win.
Yeah, that's right. We got a perfect trip, and obviously the leader was too good for us today, but they just probably didn't sprint through as good as he can. So, touch disappointing, but, in saying that on the sectionals, he was okay.
Oh, you'd be proud of that.
Yeah, proud of his effort, Greg. He went a super race. He did mid-race work, and he's he wasn't far away. So he's went really, really good. He just needed a draw in one of these big races. Probably he might have picked one up, but he's done us proud, really.
And I spoke to Gareth Hughes yesterday about Captain Treacherous. They were delighted, obviously. He's gone a massive race in third position. Michael, from here, where do these horses go?
Krug's heading into Queensland, so he'll go to the Rising Sun, potentially the Redcliffe Derby, where they'll need a new driver because Blair Orange will drive him in the Rising Sun against the 4-year-olds on July 10, and also in the Queensland Derby. But the Redcliffe Derby, they might find a spare driver. So he heads. Beatty Joe heads to the paddock. Steve Telfeld wants to go to the 3 or 4-year-old races. Of course, he can go to the Victoria Derby in December if he wants. So some really nice options for him. He would like to see him at Menangle. Hot and Treacherous, as you said, absolutely superb. And Regazzo Mac lost absolutely no fans. So Krug just got a little bit colty up the straight. He didn't sprint as good as he could. I also walked the track early doors. The passing lane was just a little bit deeper than the rest of the track. It's not an excuse.
Yep.
He was there to win, but Ben drove the other horse so well. I think he's going to end up being a very good horse, Beatty Joe. Well done to Stonewall Stud. They put an enormous amount of money into the game, Greg. Another syndicate horse, so they're bringing people into the game. And one of my favourite young people in New Zealand racing, Mitch Davis. Mitch was absolutely over the moon. He's one of these people, wasn't a harness racing man, got into a syndicate. He's now had a Group 1 winner, and I was absolutely thrilled for him. And all the connections, but particularly Steve and Jill. They do an incredible amount for harness racing in the north, with Steve and Amanda alongside them. They got their jewel, and yeah, that for me was the feel-good story of the day, Greg.
Yep, certainly was. We also had some Australians over. We didn't have any horses, but I managed to catch up with Brittany Graham and see what she thought of the Harness Jewels. Well, Britt, you're a wee way from home.
I know, I am a long way from home, but no, really enjoying it. Pity the weather isn't a little better, but I was expecting worse, so I've been pleasantly surprised.
All right, we're almost halfway through the program. What does this Harness Jewels concept mean to the Australians?
Oh, we always watch with interest, and I love the concept that it's sort of the end of season finales, kind of like the Breeders' Crown's going to be for us going forward. But we've always watched with interest, and I've heard great things, so I'm glad that I got to come across and experience it.
All right, there's some serious racehorses still to come. What's the one horse you're most looking forward to seeing in the flesh?
I must say Copy That, obviously, with the look towards Queensland and him coming to my backyard. Hopefully he performs well, so that can continue, and really the same with Krug. I've heard great things, and apparently he's a bit handsome, so I have to go around and have a look at him.
Really appreciate your time today. Thanks for coming over and enjoying your stuff you're putting together on Sky. It's great stuff.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, good to catch up with Brittany Graham. Let's move to the last of our jewels with Civtech. This was the 4-year-old Emerald. It was the quickest race on the day. Here's the gate rolling, Michael Guerin. Plenty of talk leading into this one. Who would lead early? Kango tried to hold up. Tommy Lincoln had superior speed early, and South Coast Arden. That's him wide out there in the red colours of Brent Mangos, pushing forward. Didn't try and charge to the lead, just got balanced up before Natalie Rasmussen worked him to the front. Copy that further back in the field in the yellow colours, Maurice McKendry. One of the runs of the day just in front of him came from Laver, who was never closer than 3 wide the entire race. But as they settled down here, Natalie Rasmussen was about to work forward with this exceptional stayer who went 3 wins on the bounce.
And that was the winning of the race, getting in front of Bad to the Bone so she could dictate what happened next. Tommy Lincoln was always likely to hand up, and look, he just strode to the front. This race was over here. They weren't just going to beat him. A little bit of heaven rocks about this horse, Greg, and that sort of big, rolling type of horse who's awfully hard to get around. Mango took him to Canterbury, and the trip down there has helped. Bad to the Bone is outside him, and from there, he was going to be brave, but incredibly hard to beat the leader in the times they're running. You're right, Laver was absolutely enormous. Well done to the team with him. Copy That. Had the trail into the race. Here, Greg, you're thinking, well, he's going to unwind. Even if he doesn't win, he's going to unwind. He didn't. He underperformed. Now, they had blood tests taken on him on Tuesday. Passed. There's no issues, no virus. They think he might have been a bit sore in the feet, but no real excuses. The pads will go back on him. He definitely goes to Queensland. One of the stories of the race, New York Minute, running 4th on its home track for his 94-year-old owner who was watching in his rest home in Timaru. That the best horse in the race on the day won, and he didn't just win, he spanked him.
Outside, then Labour can go. South Coast Arden, he's all out. He's looking for the post, but he's going to do it. South Coast Arden and Natalie Rasmussen, 151.7. Fastest mile of the day. South Coast Arden gets the last. Over Labour and Bad to the Bone. New York Minute.
Congratulations, Brent.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Greg. Yeah, no, he went great. He good tough effort today, and he was too good for them.
Geez, come a long way in his last 3 starts. Look at the big, powerful brute that he is. You've got a lot to look forward to, haven't you?
Yeah, we hope so, Greg. You know, he's always given us the impression time, and you know, I've always sort of looked after him and let him grow into his frame, and he's just sort of hitting his straps now.
All right, nice wee break for him, and we'll see him in November in Christchurch, I hope.
I certainly hope so. That's the path we'll be taking. So yeah, let's hope we're there.
Congratulations, mate.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's an awesome performance.
Greg, look, I had a lot of faith in him. You know, I loved his couple of starts down south, and he just sort of grew on me, and I just knew how push-button fast he was, and I sort of wanted to take a bit of luck out of the equation and try and get across as many early as I could, and it's panned out perfect. You know, but then credit to the horse, like I used him so hard early, used him again in the middle to find the top, and then I was flat from the quarter, and he stuck to it. Like, he's a real good horse in the making.
Another great run by him.
Yeah, look, another good run. You know, he's had a good season, good into it, so we're looking forward to the spring.
What a great effort.
Oh yeah, it was probably one of the runs of the day, I think.
Talk me through about from the 800 to the 400. Were you thinking, I'm in a power of pain here, or do you know this horse so well that he just keeps giving?
Yeah, I was. I did think I was in a bit of a pain, but once he heard Copycat come out around him, he changed gear again, and away he goes. That's just him. He's a hard drive, but a good drive.
Yeah, just one of his worst races, I think. You know, he was beat a long way out. Yeah, and yeah.
Can you put that down to anything, Morris? Because he was actually getting probably the right sort of run with the draw he had.
Yeah, I think the horse I was following ended up running third and that, but he just wasn't himself, you know.
Yeah, disappointing, no doubt, Michael. Copy that, but a dominant performance from South Coast Arden in the fastest time of the day, wrapped up what was an awesome IRT Harness Jewels.
Yeah, it was, as you said, probably looks a cup horse in the making, so well done to Mango and the team there. So Copy That's on the plane on Friday, as is Amazing Dream, as is Krug. American Dealer's going to join them, so too's Captain Nemo and Tommy Lincoln. So they'll head to the Queensland Carnival, we'll catch your breath, and wait for that, Greg. Great day's racing. The track played really well considering all the rain, lots of good performances, and for me, some of the great stories, the Lavers, the Hot and Treacherouses, the Rock and Roll Mamas. These horses who didn't win, Greg, but they covered themselves and their connections and glory.
Yep, they certainly did. That wraps up the IRT Harness Jewels. Now, we're going to have an extended box seat via our social media and obviously away from trackside, which will cover the change of horse date. There's an interview there with Gary Woodham and also Martin Pearson from the Sires Stakes. So go to HRNZ or indeed any of our other platforms, New Zealand Bloodstock, to have a look at that. And if you want to know more about it, stick with hrnz.co.nz because there's going to be regular updates. It's a big change, huge change going from the 1st of January to 31 December, Michael. But yeah, those interviews will roll in as part of an extended box seat via the internet.
Mate, it's hard to fit everything in this time of year, but look, most importantly, Greg, to all of our sponsors who have helped us tell all these stories during the year. This show ended last year. Trackside changed the way they do business, which they were entirely at their rights to do. The TRB's about making money now, but Greg, a lot of sponsors have come on board and helped you and I, but particularly you, because this is your show, you're the executive producer. They've helped us tell harness racing stories. I think harness racing would be enormously poorer without it, Greg. So it's our last show. As I said, we're going to extend it a little bit more on social media, but for people watching this at home on Trackside, mate, to you, they owe you a debt of thanks because this was your show. You put it together. I didn't think you'd get it off the ground. A lot of people didn't help you as much as you would like, but then the sponsors came on board, mate. You've got lots to be proud of, as have our sponsors, and we're hoping we'll be back to do it all again next season.
Yeah, we're certainly doing a bit of work to try and get that back in the spring. To you for your input through the 34 shows, really appreciate it. But as you said, to our sponsors, people like Woodlands, New Zealand Bloodstock, Breckens, Stonewall Stud, the clubs, Addington, Auckland, Ashburton, they all got in behind it. IRT through their huge sponsorship throughout the year. Garrards from across the Tasman. We couldn't have done it without them. And Door Contracting, who came on late in the piece, Michael, to get your 12 wins in a row. So a big thank you to Ronnie Door as well for that support. But that wraps up the season for us. Big thank you to the New Zealand TAB as well. They provided us with these studios and the platform to play it via Trackside. So that'll be us for this season. We hope to see you back in the spring. But from Michael and I, it's bye for now.